Well, hello and welcome to episode number 299 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. Whew, just so I'm building up, ready for next week. Welcome everyone to the show, and welcome back into the studio for a live show this week, Matt Smith.
Hello. I'm kind of excited because it's episode 299.
299.
So I'm really excited because obviously it does mean that, of course, next week we will be live from London. But that's also why I'm slightly terrified, because what you see in front of me here...
I was going to have to worry about what's behind you.
Well, yes, absolutely, there is that. I'm having my head chopped off by some random Emirates fan by the look of it. But anyway, it's just like we've got to put essentially everything that's in front of me right now in a box, stick it in the TriStar van and take it to London, which frightens me slightly, Nev, I'll be honest with you, because I'm sure you've been there along with me in the fact that when I get it back here in the studio, it'll never work the same again.
You'll have to do what I used to do. Remember in the olden days when we used to do the kitchen studio?
Back in the 1990s.
Back in the early days. And you used to always tell me to take a picture on my phone of where all the various
No. The difference between you and I, though, is I understand the configuration of the studio. That's not the issue.
We'll remember this
the
week after next.
Well, I can't get it
this
online,
could come back to bite you
right.
in the bum.
Yes,
Anyway,
moving on.
Joining us from his new studio in London, it's Neville Bands.
Well, I thought we'd upgrade a bit, and I've probably gone over the top this time, I realise.
I think you might have done, yeah.
Too much stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell you what, Matt, you could really help me out by not playing that music in my ear, because it's,
it's all about
really
you, isn't it?
quite distracting.
All right, I'll see what I can do about that.
Anyway, here we are, back in the new year. Happy New Year to everybody.
Is that better?
Yes, much better, thank you. Happy New Year, and hope everybody has had a nice time over the holiday season.
It's live, ladies and gentlemen, it's live.
Yes, well, unfortunately, I've put on a bit too much weight, so I should be...
I don't think you're alone there, Nev, I'll be honest.
No.
I can't believe Mrs. Nev signed off on the cheque to pay for that marvellous new studio.
She hasn't. No, that's where the problem starts.
Nev. Tony S says, wow, look at Nev's equipment. What have you been up to over the festive period?
You know, people can admire it, can't they? And I'm happy about that.
That's it, we're in trouble already. Moving
on. Welcome everyone, obviously, and Happy New Year to everyone. We hope you had a great Christmas and safe New Year's Eve evening.
Masha says we're really getting an eyeful. Yep.
I know we are. Anyway, moving on.
Am I putting you off, buddy?
You're putting me off, yeah. I completely forgot what I was going to say then. Where was I?
Well, it makes a change from Nev's muff, I'll be honest.
Oh, I know. So, yes, welcome everyone after our break. I hope you all enjoyed the Christmas special show. I know I had a few WhatsApps from various people saying that they were rather tearful watching the Christmas special episode.
Oh, I see.
And it wasn't tears of sadness.
No, indeed.
Yeah.
No,
So
yes, actually, one of the things I've had a couple of messages from actually is, of course, we premiered the very first episode of the John Hutchinson interviews over the New Year show. That was quite exciting, and of course, the next episode of that we're actually saving because it's a bit of a special one for next week's show, which obviously will be shown live in front of an audience in London.
I know. We're looking forward to that. So, on the note of the show, we're at with 299. We're at today, and the date today. What is the date today, Matt? It's the 3rd of January. Just coming up.
Richard says that's a slightly hypnotic backdrop, by the way.
It is good, isn't it?
Isn't it? It is a bit trance-worthy, isn't it?
To be fair, when I was filming that particular shot with the camera, or my camera phone, I should say, laying my phone, just
that comes
resting
from your
it.
crappy Android phone. Really?
It's obviously the camera's. I filmed it. I didn't film it in 4K because I knew that would upset you.
Yes, no, fair point.
But from the back of the engine on the number 2 engine on the A380 at Emirates, but that was quite a good.
Fabian's watching us from his couch in Germany.
Hello, Fabian.
Wow, it's very unusual for you to be at home, mate. To be honest.
I know. But on the note of the 300th, don't forget those of you who are joining us for the 300th show. Don't forget, if you want to join us for the evening meal, we're all having a bit of a sit-down meal together in the hotel in the evening. Don't forget, if you want to come to the meal with us and have some food, make sure you just let us know via email.
Unfortunately, we're not paying for it. I'm afraid you've got to pay for yourself.
Unfortunately, the P2K Patreon budget sort of got blown to smithereens with the hire of the Renaissance.
Hire of the actual...
and my new studio as well.
And Nev's new studio, which obviously cost us a fortune. Actually, while we're talking about the 300th, I wondered if I might be able to announce one of our special guests that we have had confirmed this week.
Actually, Matt is going to announce very quickly. Some of you may know about a certain few people who are joining us for the 300th. But Matt, who is joining us for the 300th show?
Well, I think he's arriving about 11 a.m.-ish UK. Or he's arriving in the UK, I should say, around about 11 a.m.-ish. So what time he arrives at the Renaissance will be dependent on our wonderful customs.
And hopefully
and
Acme
force,
won't destroy his suitcase.
Oh, I see what you did there. Clever clue. Oh, he's a funny but well, yeah, no, dear. Anyway, enough of this. Captain Jeff is joining us, which we're very excited about.
Who?
Captain Jeff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've heard of him, right?
Yeah, he's a famous geezer from the States.
To be fair, the APG crew have done us proud because they're all trying desperately hard.
They are.
Dana as well, which I'm really excited about. It'll be amazing if he can make it.
And also, fingers crossed,
and Nick
hopefully,
obviously is definitely there. I should stress,
and possibly Dr. Steph as well might be joining us as well for the 300. So loads of celebrities at the 300 show. So for those of you who have not contacted us yet to come on the 300th, please do email the show and let us know that you want to come to the 300 show. For those of you who may not listen to the live shows, listen to the audio shows, email podcast@plaintalkinguk.com if you want to come and join us at the Renaissance Hotel next Saturday for the live
Saturday
300
the 11th
show.
of January. Absolutely. All you've got to do is say, literally, just bang us a quick email, podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. Spaces are limited. That's why we're having to operate a guest list. Otherwise, we'd just say everybody's welcome to just rock up. But we do have a limit as to how many people we're allowed in the room, which is why we've got to run a guest list, as I say, and we are getting quite close to that now. So please, if you would like to sort of come, don't haste. No,
don't haste. More haste, less.
More haste, less. No, hang on. More speed, less haste. Anyway,
just send us an email and join us for the 300th. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Nev's already rolling his eyes. Look, no, he's just.
I can't find the words.
I'll tell you what, Nev.
I
really hope, Nev, that you haven't got to pack that studio away and take with you.
Absolutely.
Well, if I did, I'd need a bigger car. That's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think it'll quite fit in the banana. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, enough of this.
So we have got an absolute shed load of news to come on the show this week. We've also got some bits coming up later on the show, both of which are a couple of segments from the Dubai Air Show.
Yes.
One of them is one of the interviews that a few people have been waiting for. Well, that's the one with Vice President of Marketing at Boeing, who we talked to on the Boeing stand, me and Nev.
As opposed to the Airbus stand. You didn't find them wandering around there.
No, they wouldn't let us in there. We've also...
Are you serious?
No, they just couldn't be bothered. Me and Nev were far too,
lowbrow.
And also we've got another piece as well from the Mototok stand, which is all about their electric pushback trucks.
Oh, cool.
Which is quite interesting as well. So looking for that forward.
No
to
air
that.
stairs though. I noticed Jennifer would have been very
No,
excited.
there wasn't any. No, there wasn't any air stairs there, was there, Nev?
No, not much.
No. But we've got all that to come. So I suppose we better move things along. So we are going to start the show then, as we do each week.
First one of 2020.
With our rundown of the weekly news from around the world and the UK. So if you are ready, Nev.
Yes, I am.
Matt.
Yeah, why not?
Hit it. So, kicking off this week's first news story on the foxnews.com website. And we've covered a story a few times on the show about people who like to throw money in engines for good luck, which is... it might be good luck, but it's not good luck for the
engine.
airline. So the headline here, airline passenger fined £17,000 G, or 17,000, whatever that is, for tossing coins into a plane's engine for good luck. So a 28-year-old man in China has been ordered to pay the equivalent of over $17,000, there we go, in damages to an airline after he tossed some coins into the aircraft's engine for good luck last year. Lu Chao was arrested after boarding the, this has got to be a typo, the Lucky Air flight in Anqing in the Anhui province.
That is the name of the airline.
Really? After the airline's crew found 2 1-yen coins on the ground near the aircraft's engine. Lu later admitted he tossed the coins in for good luck prior to the February the 17th, 2019 flight. As a result, the flight was cancelled and Lucky Air was forced to accommodate or find lodging for the aircraft's displaced passengers, the South China Morning Post reported. Lu himself was also detained by the police for 10 days. Wow. Days later, Lucky Air announced their intentions to... Oh, that's so funny. And expressed their intentions to press charges against Lu, who they claimed was responsible for over $20,000 in losses. The incident caused a direct economic loss of nearly 140,000. Is that yen? It is yen, isn't it? And the company will press charges against the passenger in accordance with the law. Reps for Lucky Air said in a February statement that not only does tossing coins not give you good luck, it will also endanger the aviation safety and land you in detention, and could be you could be prosecuted as well, they said. The suit was ultimately filed in May in the South China Morning Post reports, and according to the outlet, Lu was represented by his brother at a subsequent court appearance where the defence argued that Lucky Air should have made an announcement prior to boarding reminding passengers not to toss coins into the engines. Okay. So the court ruled Lu was responsible for 120,000 yen in damages, roughly $17,230, as well as court costs of 459 yen, or around $65. That's there's a video actually. Did you play the video or the pictures or the?
Well, I wasn't really sure which one you meant, so no.
There's only a little tiny video that he doesn't actually toss them directly into the engine.
That was for a different story.
Was that for a different story? That one?
Yeah, so I didn't play that. Sorry.
Okay, but it just definitely. I mean, tossing coins into an engine for good luck. Can you imagine if everyone done that on a Ryanair flight? Considering most Ryanair flights are boarded via air stairs from the tarmac.
True, yeah, absolutely. It's,
do
you know, I sort of kind of assumed that most people had the fancy with Emirates, that most of it was where the fancy pods went on the side, and that's how they entered. Are they air stairs? No, what are they called? No. You know where it's got the tripod that comes out from the terminal building and hooks itself onto. I'm going to get told off so badly by all of my aviation friends now, aren't I? What is Nev? What is the word I'm looking for?
You mean the boarding gate finger thing that comes?
That's
out?
it. That's
finger thing.
That'll do.
There you are.
That'll do. Yeah. But
Jetway was the word I'm looking for.
That's the one. That's the one.
Thank you. Lovely. Although I preferred your version, I'll be honest. But I sort of assumed that Emirates, all of theirs would be that sort of configuration where they're attaching themselves.
Well, it certainly cost them more than a few coins anyway.
Well, yes, absolutely.
So moving on to the next story, Matt.
I mean, part of me feels a bit sad for this guy, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
Just a little tiny bit, because I don't think he did it with any malice. He just didn't think about what he did. Or did it say in the article he was a repeat offender?
No, it doesn't. But you're just one of those things that in life that you just don't do. You don't.
Yeah, but I'm probably stupid enough to do that if I didn't know any better.
I honestly couldn't imagine you throwing coins into an aircraft engine, man.
I mean, I'd like to think that I've got a bit of common sense about me. Anyway, sorry. Shall we move on to the next story before?
I mean, you may as well offer the pilots a pint of scotch before you fly. Oh, have this, guys.
Well, I mean, if you go back into the sort of like 70s and 80s, I dare say that would have been very successful. Anyway, on to the next story. This is in the Sun newspaper.
I love this one. This is good. The power of social media.
Yes, and the joys of the Sun newspaper being where we apparently get most of our aviation news from. But But anyway, the festive fury. Ryanair's Christmas miracle giveaway hijacked by passengers asking for free luggage and better flights. Ryanair's Christmas giveaway didn't quite go according to plan after it was hijacked by hilarious responses from passengers asking for better service and free luggage. The low-cost airline launched their hashtag Ryanair Christmas Miracle campaign on Twitter, offering a free €50, that's £42, voucher. To enter, social media users had to tag someone who hated Christmas shopping. They wrote on Twitter, it's hashtag Christmas Eve and time is running out for presents. So we have a €50 Ryanair gift voucher to save you the bother of braving the shops today. To enter this competition, just tag someone who hates Christmas shopping and use the hashtag Ryanair Christmas Miracle. However, travellers used the handle to vent about Ryanair instead, asking a number of hilarious things that weren't on the list. Ben tweeted, getting assigned seats together without paying extra, hashtag Ryanair Christmas Miracle. Oh dear. Stacey added, stop making us pay £40 for hand luggage. It's not fun, hashtag Ryanair Christmas Miracle. I don't think they're getting into the spirit of the competition, you know. Connor said, a good flight with Ryanair, hashtag Ryanair Christmas Miracle. Oh, that's really unfair. Matt Roxburgh joked, saw hashtag Ryanair Christmas Miracle trending and thought that someone had managed to get an on-time Ryanair flight for the advertised price with no surcharges. That's really me. George Pinnington had a number of gripes, a transparent pricing policy, smiling and cooperative staff, a pleasant flight experience, and, above all, modest and self-effacing corporate leadership. Hashtag Christmas Ryanair Christmas Miracle. Another person added, how about you start recognising unions and actually employing staff, not fobbing them off to CrewLink, then start paying them actual wages and the hours they work and limit days to only 2 sectors, hashtag Ryanair. Do you know, I suspect that person might work for them. Probably not.
I bet they wish they would have never have asked.
Yeah, indeed. Some didn't agree, claiming that Ryanair passengers only had themselves to blame. There is that. Anyway, I digress. There's not really much more to add to that story, but safe to say, I think the hashtag didn't quite go according to plan.
No. I mean, if you're going to ask, if you're going to ask someone to use a hashtag,
always a fatal flaw in anyone's plan. I mean, social media really is such a unpredictable beast, isn't it?
I couldn't see any hashtag from Nev there.
Really?
Unusually for me.
Yes.
If there's a hashtag opportunity, I'm normally right in there.
Yes, but it's Ryanair, to be fair. There's no way you'd have seen it, let's be honest. Yeah, you have them blocked in your filter, don't you?
So it's a non-story, really.
Yeah. I know.
So Nev...
Speaking of
non-stories. Oh, right. Okay. Can't wait for this one.
Nev hates this next story.
Oh, does he?
I think Carlos chooses these stories to maximise my irritation.
Oh, splendid. Can't wait for this.
And he has succeeded.
Oh.
It's on the express.co.uk.
Say no more.
And the headline, British Airways fails to make the list of top 20 safest airlines for 2020. Point of order there. It's only the 3rd day of 2020 so far, but we'll move on.
Right.
Airline safety is one of the things most concerning travellers today. No, it's not. It's of the utmost importance, particularly to Britons, with 8 out of 10 saying that their biggest worry about flying is engine failure. That's not my biggest worry about flying at all. But it says to combat this, many resort to extensive research, relying on forums, reviews, and more to discover the best airlines to travel with. And for nervous flyers everywhere, a list of the top 20 safest airlines to fly with has been revealed. The list, which has been compiled by airlineratings.com, which is an online airline safety and product rating website, monitors 405 airlines around the world to produce their annual list, which ranks the who's who of airlines by just how safe they are. The list takes into consideration audits from aviation bodies and governments, financial position, pilot training, serious incident records, and more. According to airlineratings.com editor-in-chief Geoffrey Thomas, these airlines are standouts in the industry and are at the forefront of safety, innovation, and launching of new aircraft. For instance, Australia's Qantas has been recognised by the British Advertising Standards Association in a test case as the world's most experienced airline, Thomas said. Qantas took the top spot, reclaiming its #1 title after being named the safest airline in 2015 and 2016, respectively. Qantas has been the leading airline in virtually every major operational safety advancements over the past 60 years and has not had a fatality in the jet era, Thomas added. But Qantas is not alone. Long-established airlines such as Hawaiian and Finnair have perfect records in the jet era. Air New Zealand has been honoured for the 6th time on this list and has taken the number 2 position for its record-breaking performance, multi-award-winning in-flight innovations, operational safety, environmental leadership, and motivation of its staff. These factors have stamped the airline as a clear industry leader. EVA Air, which is a Taiwanese international airline, came in 3rd, and this is the 6th year in a row they have been featured on the list.
Do they have a big checkbook by any chance? No, sorry.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, the airline describes themselves as never compromising for safety and builds corporate culture upon it to educate staff in all positions, whether in the air or on the ground, with or without supervision, to respectively follow the high standard guidelines. Other notable airlines which made the top 20 include Etihad in 4th place, Emirates in 7th, and Virgin Atlantic at 12th. Virgin Atlantic was the only UK carrier to feature in the list as British Airways failed to crack the top 20. Last year, British Airways was included in the prestigious list. Thomas told CNN Travel that the airline slid down the rankings due to a combination of fleet age, which is an average of 13.8 years, and the number of incidents, which were not life-threatening, but there was a lot of them compared to other airlines of similar size. Despite not making into this year's top 20, BA still maintains a 7-star rating on Airline Ratings website. In addition to ranking the safest airlines for 2020, Airline Ratings also highlighted the safest low-cost carriers for the year, which are they include Arabia, Flybe, Frontier, HK Express, Indigo, JetBlue, Volaris, Vueling, WestJet, and Wizz Air. The website launched in 2013 and rates the safety of 409 airlines using its 7-star rating system and has been used by millions of passengers from 195 countries. I'm not going to say any more about that story because
right, okay.
It'll get us taken off the air.
Will it? Right, okay. Did you do this on purpose, Carlos?
No, not at all.
Just to wind Nev up, you know. I mean, he's only just rejoined us after a very busy period. I'm a bit worried the injunction's going to kick in again, I'll be honest.
It's one of those things, and Neville agreed with me, that BA get the a bad rap about this, that, and the other, but when you look at the flights that we've had over the last few months with BA, not only has the staff been fantastic, but the level of service has been fantastic as well. And
also, when it goes wrong, as it can do with any airline, for example, the 777 crash at Heathrow before the threshold of the runway, everybody walked out of that aircraft.
They did.
There were some injuries. Yeah. But there were no fatalities, and at the end of the day, that is the aim.
That is the aim of the game, absolutely.
Very
and
true.
also, of course, what you don't forget is the, I mean, BA do have a lot of flights as well, don't they? So the long and the short of it is, it's like the whole Ryanair thing, isn't it? It's just like they say their percentages of complaints are so much higher. Yeah, because so many more people are flying with that airline. So, by sheer definition, you're going to get, perhaps more things shouted about because there are more people using the service. As you say, of course, with BA, you don't hear about all the people unless they've flown to Dubai recently and happen to be involved in a podcast that may or may not go out once a week. You're not normally sort of, hearing about the fact that they had an amazing experience. That's the anyway. Yes. So yes, I feel your pain, Nev. I shall chastise him as soon as the show is over. All right, leave it with me.
So the next story, as Armando's not here, but he did send in this next story. This one is on thebizjournals.com, and Sun Country will begin cargo flights with Amazon as client number 1. So Sun Country Airlines is jumping into the cargo business with a major first customer, Amazon. The deal announced by Eagan-based Sun Country on Tuesday will add 10 Boeing 737-800 converted freighter aircraft, which will be subleased from Amazon Air and fly under Amazon's light blue livery. Sun Country will also hire an additional 70 pilots, that's always good news, more maintenance staff and about 20 to 30 headquarters staff to support the new business, the Star Tribune reports. The partnership, they say, with Amazon presents a unique opportunity to signify growth in the airlines, said Sun Country Airlines CEO Jude Bricker. While the past 2 years have been focused on scheduled service growth, this exciting opportunity gives us a chance to diversify even further, and they will look forward to working with the partners at Amazon in this new adventure. So Sun Country has only a modest cargo business right now, flying packages on its existing passenger routes. The company got its start as a charter airline and expanded into scheduled services with a focus on flights to vacation destinations and a handful of other key markets. Under Bricker and new owners, Apollo Global Management, it's focused on an expansion as a low-cost carrier. The new planes from Amazon are an addition to Sun Country's own fleet expansion, the Star Tribune notes. Seattle-based Amazon, meanwhile, has never contracted with a commercial airline for freight, instead dealing with its specialists like Atlas Air and FedEx. But those relationships they've had some bumps. Business Insiders reported that Amazon threatened to drop its business with Atlas and 2 other carriers unless they reached a labor deal with their pilots, while FedEx Express said that this summer that it wouldn't renew its shipping deal with Amazon. As the airline industry website Skift notes, the two companies came together nearly a year ago when Bricker approached Amazon with an offer to sell the e-commerce giant a used Boeing 737. Amazon passed but came back later asking if Sun Country would offer cargo flights. For Bricker, the deal is similar to Sun Country's roots as a charter business.
The back of the computer side has just fallen off onto my feet.
Oh, don't worry. It will also cut down on the seasonality of the Sun Country's tourism-heavy business since cargo peaks in the late fall before the airline's busy months in the late winter. So Minneapolis-St. Paul-based plane watchers will get the chance to see the Amazon airplanes from time to time, and the Tribune notes that some will come there for maintenance but will be flying most often to a $1.5 billion air hub that Amazon is building at Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport. I must admit, I do like that blue that they've got that 737-800 painted in for.
Oh, is that the Amazon Prime? Yeah, the Amazon Prime blue. Yes,
I do like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise they'd had a bit of a sort of to do with Atlas and the other big carriers. But I think they're kind of moving to other airlines to provide their services.
Yeah, that's true. Chris Grigg says in the chat room here, how long was Carlos filming that engine for? It's still going. I should just stress it's on a loop, Chris. It's not. He didn't actually stand there for 2.5 hours recording.
Yeah, he used his 4-hour VHS tape for that one.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that would have filled even your memory. Yeah, even your memory card, I think, would have been filled up by that.
So, Matt.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest with you, I'm dreading this story because it's got the word Japan in the title, but I'll come back to that. Can I just say, actually, a very lovely lady is watching the show at the moment. Do you remember our 200th episode? Back in the day.
Oh, back in the day, yeah.
And do you remember a really rather amazing cake that somebody made for us?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
so the lovely Hayley is watching. I don't know if
she's watching.
She is actually watching. Only because I sent her the link.
Oh, okay.
She's very excited because she's actually making the cake for our 300th as well.
Ooh.
I know, because she's lovely like that. And she's very excited because her edible printer, not the printer itself, isn't edible. I was going to
go around and eat the printer.
Absolutely. So, so if I'm distracted during the show, it's because I'm sending her the PT UK logo so that she can...
it's a shame she couldn't send us cake.
Right, okay. I mean... don't, because I know what she... No.
You know where Matt lives. Feel free to come in while we're doing a live show. It's okay. Don't panic. Nev will just feel really...
You really don't have to, Hayley.
I was going to say, do you remember the 200th cake? The cake for the 200th show is what I mean.
Yes.
Was absolutely outstanding.
And do you know the most amazing thing about it was and she'll correct me if I get this wrong because I'll get a WhatsApp if I get it wrong. And it was literally because it was soya-free, dairy-free and gluten-free. So it really was suitable for anybody to eat, and nobody would ever have known that it was a special cake like that. So we have something very similar coming for the 300 if you are coming. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say what the design is. I'll have to see if I get a message. I'm not.
No.
Okay. I'm not allowed to say what the design is.
Actually,
Needless to say, it is impressive.
Before we move on to the next story, can I just make a mention,
go on.
especially for you, Matt? Can I just say a big thanks, because I know Mama Smith watches the show. And I will say that we had the most amazing Christmas cake this year, cooked by Mama Smith.
Yes.
And I tell you what, for those lovers of fruitcakes, oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, moving on to the next story.
Yes.
Now, this story was quite good because I thought to myself, free flight.
No, I'm scared because it's got the word Japan on it, which means there's going to be lots of things in it I don't know how to pronounce. Okay. So, Owen, if you're still in the chat room, please be on standby. And okay, here we go. So this is on the airlineratings.com website, and the headline is Japan Airlines offers 50,000 free flights to international tourists. So here we go. Japan Airlines is offering international tourists of up to 100,000 free domestic seats in 2020 as part of a national tourism campaign. The seats will be available between July and September 2020 as part of Your Japan 2020 campaign, because of course that's where the Olympics is, isn't it? That's probably what some of this is about. To be launched this year by the Japan Tourism Agency and the Japan National Tourism Organisation. The winner trip to JAL promotion will offer international visitors 50,000 return flights to, like I say, that'd be a bit harsh, isn't it? One way. You have to buy your own flight. You can't get home. Anyway, sorry, the winner trip promotion will offer international visitors 50,000 return flights to regional Japanese destinations they might not have otherwise visited. JAL says it will recommend to tourists 4 destinations, and they will get an email with 3 days of departures telling them where they're going to fly. Groups of up to 4 people can apply, and the itinerary must be completed within 10 days of the first flight. The offer will apply to JAL Group domestic routes from Tokyo's Haneda Airport and
Osaka,
and
Kansai,
Osaka, Kansai, and Itami airports. Thank you. This is where it becomes very obvious I know nothing about aeroplanes. The campaign will be launched in late February, and eligible, I nearly said edible, that's because we were talking about cake. Eligible participants must live outside Japan and be a JAL Mileage Bank member. Oh, rubbish. Yes, absolutely. It is open to foreign passport holders or Japanese citizens who are permanent residents of another country. The promotion coincides with the Tokyo Summer Olympics from the 24th of July to the 9th of August.
Oh, God, no. Because when I looked at it, I thought, that's one of the places that I really would love to go to, Japan.
Absolutely.
And now I've read that you've got to live outside Japan, or we tick that box. But my JAL Mileage Bank member, I don't think I've got that.
Yeah.
Have you?
No. What now?
Nev probably.
I've already lost interest in the story, I'll be honest.
Nev, this is a good idea. Do you not agree? Would you not agree that it's a good promotion for JAL?
It's great,
I think it's a great idea. Yeah, if you've got the points and all the
JAL membership.
They're going to get quite a lot of promotion already at the end of the day, because obviously the Olympics are going there, aren't they? So I mean, most people will. I bet you the flights won't involve like the ability to go to the Olympics. It won't coincide. I bet that'll be quite a busy time around there. I don't think they'll be filling empty seats around then.
Have you been to Japan, Nev? I can't remember with you.
I have only once, and I flew with SAS from Copenhagen on a 767 back in the day, and it's still a long way. I mean, even from Copenhagen, it was a good 13-hour flight, but it's a fascinating country. I just got to see small bits of Tokyo, I've got to say, but it was really, really good, really interesting place. Yeah.
So Nev, sticking with you for the next story, and yes.
Well, I'm not irritated by this story.
Oh,
you'll be pleased
glorious news!
So that's good. Thanks for that. It's on the Forbes.com website. Titled "The Most Bizarre Services Offered by Airlines, from in-flight massages to choosing seatmates on Facebook." In the era when commercial aviation is becoming, well, more commercialized, many airlines are hitting the headlines for removing services rather than adding new and quirky services for passengers. Sometimes for consumers, it's the little things that make all the difference. Granted, many airlines are quick to add nice little perks for premium passengers in first and business class. But what about those nice little extras that all of us can enjoy? And so this website takes a look at some of the most interesting services offered by airlines around the world. How about this? Choosing your seatmate. Well, the Dutch airline KLM introduced a meet and seat service that allow passengers to check out other passengers' Facebook or LinkedIn profiles before selecting seats. This could be quite an interesting feature, particularly for long flights, if passengers are looking to meet new and interesting people. Obviously, the feature requires passenger consent, but it could certainly be a little creepy.
Just a little, yes.
How about this one? Blind bookings. The German airline Germanwings allows passengers to select a broad range of requirements for a trip, such as shopping, or partying. And then after selecting your dates, it allows passengers to book blind, so to speak. So you don't find out the destination you're flying to until after booking. And if you're not satisfied with playing travel roulette, then tough luck. It's the true modern day form of sticking a pin in a map and seeing where you go. Exciting or terrifying? Take your pick. Let alone visa requirements and, entry stuff and what have you. This is a bit more like it, though. A lay flat bed in economy. Well, Air New Zealand has offered a cuddle class on some of its very long-haul flights in economy. For a select amount of passengers travelling in a pair, there is the option to buy a third seat for half the price. The benefit of this is that the 3 seats together in economy can be converted into a bed by a clever fold-out feature where the passenger's legs normally are. Just as well Al's not on this show.
Moving on, yes.
Today, isn't it? Yes. This one I've seen before, virtual reality headsets. Now, granted, this is for first-class passengers, but but Qantas now offer passenger VR headsets to pass the time. The headset shows passengers a 360-degree view of the runway, lounges on board an A380 aircraft, and even Australian national parks. What about massages on board? Well, Air Malta, somebody's favourite airline, introduced an onboard spa and massage service for its economy.
That's 37 minutes into the first show of 2020.
Yes.
Great, lovely.
We'll talk about Malta later on, maybe.
Oh, really?
So they offered this service back in 2015, and they said they wanted to push smaller projects to increase passenger satisfaction, and free head and shoulder massages on selected flights for all passengers was just the start of this. As you can imagine, the service has proved very popular. Final one, Hello Kitty themed aircraft. Eva Airways offers flights on an A330 aircraft that is completely Hello Kitty themed. Global phenomena goes down a storm, with everything from staff uniforms to amenity kits, meals, and even the seats being in line with a Hello Kitty theme. As you can imagine, the flights are very popular, and the aircraft is instantly recognizable from the Hello Kitty livery. I'm not sure I would be suitable for that.
You see, now actually, I mean, I was about to start mocking this, if I'm brutally honest, but then suddenly occurred to me, I can think of several people who are probably not a million miles away from me here, and perhaps down the line in the delights of Buckinghamshire, where a decision could well be made on what aircraft they fly on based on the livery of the plane. For example, the BAE livery with the BA sort of.
With the BOAC
so,
stuff,
whilst we're mocking the fact, Hello Kitty and not choosing to, I can think of two people here who might, certainly on the type of aircraft make their decision as to which one they're going to fly on, because, we want to fly a 747 for the last time or whatever, or, perhaps one of the retro liveries, which have sort of,
we didn't get the chance for that. That's a shame, really. It'd been nice to have had the 747 that we came home on, Nev, with the BOAC livery.
Yes, well, Tanya is coming from the US to London on a 747 with BA. So I wonder if she might be on the BOAC one or the Landor.
Landor, oh wow, that would be awesome.
So, yeah, I bet.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Right, so moving on to the next story. Nev.
No, he's just.
Is it me? No, it's me.
I think Nev's just done a story, hasn't he?
I have just done
Oh,
one.
that's me. Sorry,
You're
I'm
right there,
half asleep.
Carlos.
No, I know. So moving on to the next story. This one, I've got a Fox News one again. And this headline, EasyJet passenger says airline left a gaping hole in his luggage. These stories always amaze me, because it's nothing to do with the airline. It's the ground handlers that normally put
I know, but
holes in luggage.
in defence of Mr. Layman, of course, the default position when you have a problem like this, you have to start with the airline.
Yeah.
So, in their, I get what you're saying, but
An EasyJet passenger was left fuming after someone after the airline returned his checked luggage with a gaping hole in the middle. Peter Richardson from Warrington claims the damage was worth $238, with his suitcase broken and clothes ruined. Richardson, who was travelling from Manchester Airport to Arrecife. I can never get this one right. Is it Arrecife? It's in Lanzarote anyway. Lisa and Lee would know that one.
They would.
When the airline totally destroyed his suitcase. Pictures show how his bag had a hole punched through it. The soles of a pair of shoes in the bag were completely mangled, and a pair of shorts totally destroyed. For those of you watching YouTube, you can see the pictures on the screen. So the 51-year-old says that while the airline reimbursed the costs of his bag for $53, he was initially offered just $76 or a $93 EasyJet voucher. Why is this all in dollars? It's a UK airline. To replace the $185 worth of damaged clothing. He has also accused the company of making it as difficult as possible to make a claim. A furious Richardson took to social media to complain to the airline. He posted the photos with the caption, "If you're ever asked to put your bag in the hold, don't bother. They did this to my bag, and a month later all I've had back is the cost of a new bag and to an offer of half the value of the damaged items." He says that if he'd not followed it up vigorously, he doubts that anything would have happened, as sleazyjet, as he puts. I'm not interested in resolving this kind of issue. Policy is clearly to make it as difficult as possible to recover the cost of items. And he said that would someone from EasyJet like to discuss the matter, he put. The airline has since performed a full U-turn after Richards complained on social media about his treatment and offered to fully reimburse his costs. Speaking this week, Richardson said that we think it occurred at the airport, and that's when the case was returned to us. They refunded the case and the shoes and the flip-flops and the shorts that cost $185. Where did he buy these shorts and flip-flop from? Blimey.
B&M.
The offer was based on half the approximate value of the original goods, and there has been a development. They said that they came back and offered him a full refund of all the items purchased. He also stated that he also wanted the cost of the flight to be refunded due to the amount of time he spent on this problem. This has now been agreed to. Well, he certainly got his own way by complaining on social media. It's always a good way to go down somewhere.
It's certainly your favourite method of getting
at the
attention
moment
from large companies, isn't it?
It is a mess, yeah. Well, just actually noting that the picture, if you never probably see this as well or notice this, but on the pictures on this story, the actual suitcase itself, if you look at where the wheels are on the bottom of the suitcase, the wheels are actually ground down to a flat kind of...
Oh, you think it's been dragged across something?
It could well have been dragged under something or with something and obviously ripped apart, but
let's have a look at that again while we're talking about it.
I must say, I mean, Neville, if you look at see the wheel at the bottom of the, it's ground down to a perfect sort of half moon
flat
shape
bit. Yes.
Yeah. But
I just wonder if it's got stuck in the baggage handling systems that they use. It's got caught in one of those things that they use.
I'm a great lover of hard shell cases myself.
I mean, stuff does go wrong, though. I mean, I'm sorry that this... I mean, this would be more of a story if they... I doubt anything would have... I mean, I'm sure the airline would sort this out, surely. Am I missing something here? I mean,
the airline, most airlines have a standard procedure they follow with a standard amount of compensation and stuff for lost things. it all boils down to the fact that 9 times out of 10 people don't bother with insurance, holiday insurance.
No.
For those who do, most decent holiday insurance policies will cover up to a certain amount of damage to case and clothes and stuff like that, which 9 times out of 10 is way more than you've actually probably took on holiday with you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Clothing.
Yeah.
So
I dare say.
So the next story, Matt, is one that was sent in again by the legend that is Armando.
Okay, so this is on the AV Web website, avweb.com, and the headline is FAA releases new video. Oh, that's going to work really well, seeing as I'm the one that presses the buttons,
I know.
Carlos. FAA.
Remember, we were a 4-man team before.
Good point. All right,
Yeah.
I'll shut up then. FAA releases new video for ADS-B ADAPT program. So with the ADS-B out, mandate a week away, there are still scores of aircraft not yet equipped, meaning that they can't legally fly in rule airspace after the 1st of January without a waiver. Turns out the waiver, part of the FAA's ADS-B Deviation Authority pre-flight tool, ADAPT program, isn't hard to get, but it is online only. So the FAA has created a step-by-step video to walk pilots through the process. In short, to use ADAPT, you have to apply for the waiver no more than 24 hours before a flight and no later than 1 hour before departure. The flight has to leave within 2 hours of the estimated time. Fill out the form with your departure, destination and route of flight, and the system will tell you whether you're likely to get approval for the waiver. If that response is positive, you fill out a few more fields, including your email address, and then formally submit the request. The email response you get from the FAA constitutes official approval to fly into rule airspace without ADS-B, but not all routes and airports will receive an automated approval, including those beginning or ending at capacity constraint airports. How many times can you use ADAPT? According to the AOPA's guidance on the matter, it's not likely to be unlimited. The FAA created ADAPT as an interim measure to allow non-conforming aircraft a way to get to a location where they can be equipped, and for those aircraft with installed but inoperative ADS-B out systems to get repair service. That's a great story. I've read it. I still don't understand what it's talking about.
ADS-B out, Matt. So automatic dependent surveillance broadcast.
Right,
ADS-B.
okay.
So no, you know when you go on Flight Radar 24
No, but yes. I mean,
on your phone.
I've heard of Flight Radar 24.
You've been on the app. You've got it on the app
okay,
on your
right,
phone,
yeah.
and you look on the screen. You see all these little planes that are flying around
Yes,
the world and stuff
okay.
like that. So ADS-B aircraft, they need this system it transmits a signal via kind of satellite.
So what sort of aircraft don't have it?
It's not all GA aircraft have them. So
Right.
if you look at, say, the parachute plane at Beccles that Stuart flies, that has this system.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you go on Flight Radar 24, you'll be able to see
You'll
Stuart
be able
in
to
the
see,
air.
yeah.
You'll be able to see his speed, altitude, heading, track him on the radar,
Okay.
see where he's going. Some of the Cessna 150s and 172s have this system on board.
Okay.
You can track them. But there are a lot. There'll be times when you're driving, say you're driving down to Heathrow and you're getting close to Heathrow, and there's a lot of GA airports in and around Heathrow and Gatwick. You'll see the little Cessnas flying around. You'll go on your phone, but they won't be on there because they don't have this system on board. So it's a way.
So essentially this rule change, if you like, is that basically everybody must have it now.
Yeah, there'll come a time when.
And this is only the US, isn't it?
Yeah, the big problem is it's not a cheap system. So
Right,
it's not
okay.
A few quid to
because presumably
to have
you
on
need
the
some kind of
aircraft.
data
Yeah,
connection.
and
Okay.
I'll tell you who trialled trialled a unit, one of these units. That was Dan Gay from Seething, who's got the Long EZ. That
and
night,
Long EZ,
he trialled one of these in his aircraft, and he's got one now
Okay.
installed in there.
Cool.
He loves it.
Yeah.
And it's good because it enables friends and relatives to sort of look on the phone and say, "Oh, there he is." Yeah, so it's good. It's a good little system. Nev, any other thoughts on that?
Not really.
Okay.
He's too busy playing with his new studio.
So Nev, next story about a really state-of-the-art aircraft.
Yes, I don't understand this story, but I'm going to persevere with it.
You didn't understand. I didn't understand the last one, mate. You said join the club.
Well, that's fair enough. So it's on the flightglobal.com website.
Nice font.
It is. It says that Boeing clashes with the FAA over 727 auxiliary tank explosion risk. Boeing and the US FAA have clashed over a safety modification for Boeing 727s, with the regulator rejecting 3 attempts by the airframer to have the proposal withdrawn. The FAA's concern centres on 727s fitted with Boeing's body-mounted auxiliary fuel tanks. It argues that the fuel quantity indicating system presents a potential electrical ignition source, and within 12 months, operators should either modify the system to eliminate the risk of explosion or deactivate the fuel tanks. But Boeing has objected to the requirement on 3 fronts. It insists its own safety assessment shows that the 727 does not have an unsafe condition, that the likelihood of an undetected latent electrical fault of the indicating system is extremely remote, and that the type's vulnerability is limited. Boeing points out that 272 aircraft were built with the auxiliary tanks, but only 6 were operated under FAA jurisdiction when the modification was originally proposed. The FAA, however, has refused to withdraw the directive, which takes effect on the 4th of February this year. It says that Boeing did not give specific details about its safety assessment, whereas the FAA believes the architecture, along with the component installation design details, present a risk which requires corrective action. Boeing has previously acknowledged that the 727 auxiliaries are high flammability tanks, and the FAA says the combination of an in-tank wire fault and a hot short outside of the tank could result in an ignition source. There are similarities between 727 fuel quantity indicating system architecture and that of the 747 variant involved in the fatal loss of TWA Flight 800 through a fuel explosion in July 1996. Boeing claims the fleet exposure is continuing to decline as a result of aging and retirements, and that the FAA's proposals will generate unnecessary costs and will not advance air safety. The FAA counters that it's obliged to inform about aircraft affected by safety issues regardless of where they are operated, adding that its determination of the unsafe condition was not driven by a fleet risk assessment. It also accuses Boeing of contradicting itself over the probability of an undetected latent electrical fault condition in the indicating system, after the airframer submitted special Federal Aviation Regulation reports stating that a latent in-tank failure condition could not be claimed to be extremely remote. Boeing sought an extension to the 12-month compliance interval, but the FAA has refused, stating that the period is adequate, although it will consider requests for extensions if sufficient data is submitted to justify such a measure. The FAA has also turned down a Boeing request to revise the cost estimate. A couple of things strike me immediately here. The 727 is not exactly a current production aircraft. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't make it as safe as they can. But also, I just get the feeling that with the stuff that's been going on with the 737 MAX, that the FAA are trying to get in first and to make sure that there's no repeat of what's been alleged between Boeing and the FAA. On the 737 MAX aircraft. It's just my own personal opinion and not an opinion of the Plain Talking UK. But it does seem a bit odd to me. That's all I would say.
No, you're not wrong, Nev. I was just looking at just a bit of the back history. That was first flew February 1963. Introduced into service in 1964 in February with Eastern Airlines, and just looking down at some of the current users of the aircraft, one of which we've seen at Farnborough, which is the Oil Spill Response Limited, who use the 727. As also there's plenty of countries around the globe anyway, including Colombia. There's some in Iraq, Mexico, that are used by various different companies for either cargo, and there's some cargo passenger variants as well in the air. But seems strange that Nev, after all these years, I mean, I don't think there's been a huge amount of incidents with the 7.2 anyway.
No, and there's
its
only
history.
there's not that many aircraft which are fitted with these auxiliary tanks. But yes, I'm all for safety being right up there, and it's better to be safe than sorry. But bearing in mind, I don't know how much longer this 727 is going to be operational in countries around the world. Not that much longer, I wouldn't have thought. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But Boeing probably could do without the extra costs at the moment due to other things that are going on there.
Is there something else going on with Boeing? I just sort of see. Yeah, it's just so the auxiliary tanks. Forgive my naivety here. I presume is that to give additional range? Is that what the auxiliary tanks are all about? Yeah. Okay.
Extra fuel.
Yeah, extra fuel, essentially. Yeah.
So the next story, moving on, is on Flight Global again, and this one is one of our favourites here, I think, on the show. We do love a good old-fashioned evacuation where passengers carry their entire belongings with them whilst the aircraft is exploding behind them. Anyway, this one on Flight Global, passenger evacuate AirAsia A320 via the slides carrying bags. So an AirAsia A320 made an emergency landing on the 30th of December at Langkawi with passengers disembarking via 3 of the slides. The aircraft was operating AK9327 from Kuala Lumpur, and says the airline, and it cites a technical issue for the turnback. Media reports citing spokesperson at the airport say the aircraft turned back 3 minutes into the flight. Videos on social media show passengers carrying luggage evacuating down the slides as well as the rear slide. It doesn't appear that the emergency exits located above the wings were opened or the right rear door. The video suggests a certain lack of urgency, and passengers remained relatively close to the aircraft after evacuating. It says on here that there were no signs of smoke or fire, and a ground power unit is also visible near the aircraft's forward landing gear. The replacement flight was subsequently arranged to fly the passengers to Kuala Lumpur, and AirAsia did not provide the number of passengers and crew, but reports suggest a total of 157 passengers. Flight tracking sites suggest the aircraft involved bears registration 9 Mike Alpha Golf uniform. Serum Fleet's database shows that the CM56 powered aircraft was delivered to the airline in December 2017, so relatively a new aircraft. But yeah, another one of those wonderful videos where passengers are disembarking with their luggage.
I do love it when they do that. It's really good news. It's
however, there is one redeeming feature about all of that. I'm pleased to say, apart from the fact it was on the Flight Global, so we like
video.
Font,
it's going to be the video.
So the video was actually in the correct format.
I know it wasn't vertical video, which I know is a personal favourite of yours, Nev. Obviously.
Yep, absolutely. So I think that's a winner as far as I'm concerned.
Certainly, couldn't agree more.
This next one. You probably, Matt, you might have seen the videos for this have been circulating through social media.
I think I did, and I'll have to play it at the end, unfortunately. But anyway, Simple Flying. Air Canada 777 hits Airbus A321, spinning it on the spot. Really? Was it that dramatic?
It was really good.
Was it? Okay. Yeah. Earlier this week, 2 Air Canada jets enjoyed a New Year's high five as a Boeing 777 clipped the tail of a... Sorry, it's a very serious story. I shouldn't be laughing. Clipped the tail of an Airbus A321 while manoeuvring at Toronto Pearson Airport. The collision... Is that where you did your layover when we went to Pittsburgh? Yeah. Anyway, the collision led to the A321 performing an elegant pirouette on the spot as it dragged around.
When you watch it, you'll see what I mean.
Of the larger plane. Both aircraft are undergoing repair. Really? There's a surprise. No passengers were on board at the time of the incident. So what happened? An Air Canada Boeing 777 clipped its smaller fleet mate, an Airbus A321, as it was moving on the apron at the airport. The larger plane wingtip struck the tail fin of the Airbus, causing it to spin right around on the spot. A bystander caught the incident on camera. The incident occurred on the 27th of December 2019 at Toronto Pearson International Airport. The Boeing 777 involved was under tow at the time. The 2 aircraft involved were Charlie Foxtrot Indigo Union Lima.
Uniform.
I was so close. A 12-year-old 777-300ER and Charlie Golf Juliet Whiskey Oscar and an A321-200 of 17.4 years old. Okay, so while you talk amongst yourselves, for I will attempt to.
I saw that there's a few videos. There's two main ones circle out on social media, but Matt will play the video in a moment.
Okay,
but
apologies in advance, Nev.
Yeah, about the video.
I hope it's not going to be vertical video.
Oh dear,
it might be anyway.
I mean,
if you just watch, it's as if it's kind of sneaking up on the Airbus.
It's in stealth mode.
In stealth mode, right, and the Boeing's like, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah,
and then if you watch, Matt, it's a really gentle little.
Yeah,
kind of pirouette. Are you ready? There we go. Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, this is terrible for those of you listening to the audio podcast. I apologise for that in advance. And do they keep going? Or
I think at this point, he's obviously hit the aircraft, and the guy who's towing the 777
having a meltdown?
thinks, oh no. Oh, and then he carries on.
Okay, very good.
This is not the first time this has happened either. Recently, because there was, I forget which airport it was. It was an Air France A380 did the same to a smaller regional jet, and it spun it not quite as elegantly as that. That was for sure. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere, but I can't remember which airport that was at. But was it in Paris or was it somewhere else? Maybe a US airport. But same story there, except I think the difference there was that the Air France A380 had a full load of passengers on board as well.
Both
of these aircraft were empty at the time.
Right. Okay. I mean, I'm sure it was only. I say last week or the week before. I mean, we've had a Christmas break, so it was probably a while ago. But a few weeks ago, I mean, we sort of, with alarming regularity, we are
dings.
There are dings involving tugs. You notice where I can't think immediately of any. I'm sure there have been, but I can't think of anything immediately where, while the aircraft was being moved by the pilot, was there a clip?
These are both under tug.
Yeah, exactly,
Paul.
Yeah. So
but one of the points that Armando's picked up on before with these stories, and it's been, if you look at the comments on that particular story below, everyone is saying, shouldn't have scrimped on the wing walkers. Obviously the people who check.
Yeah, no, fair point. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's,
could have saved a few quid there.
Well, if nothing else, I mean, do you think you reach? Mind you, this is the other thing, I suppose. It's it's the same airline that it's happened to, so it's two planes that they have that have been clipped. I mean, presumably that one might not be dealt with by insurance companies at all. It might, all
but it must impact the airline itself quite a bit, because not only obviously have you got the damage, which is going to cost a few quid to fix, but you obviously got two aircraft that are now completely off the line and can't be used, which obviously
we have a local listener at the moment. Do you remember a chap by the name of Jonathan Powley? No, okay, all right.
No.
He used to work. Well, he still works in the place that was your favourite place.
Oh, blimey! Okay, moving swiftly on.
Anyway, hello, Johnny. You're right.
So the last story, Nev, is regarding some interesting paint jobs.
It is, and it's on thepointsguide.co.uk. It's a good website.
You'll like this one, Matt. Some good pictures.
And lots of pictures on this one. Yes. So airlines use their aircraft liveries as a major part of their branding efforts, but sometimes airlines will roll out special liveries for reasons including spotlighting cities they serve, promoting a movie, or highlighting a dream destination. So here are 10 really quite wacky airline liveries. United Airlines, their Star Wars one, where United partners with Lucasfilm to create the special livery on a 737-800 to celebrate the movie Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, the epic conclusion of the triple trilogy that was the brainchild of the award-winning producer and director George Lucas. Air New Zealand have got The Hobbit, and back in November 2012, the country's flag carrier honoured The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, when it was released with this specially painted Boeing 777-300. The jet served as a great vehicle to showcase the work of native son Sir Peter Jackson, who filmed the series in New Zealand. more Hello Kitty again. I can't believe we've actually got an episode where there's two
references, yes,
two
absolutely.
references to Hello Kitty. But yes, Eva Air's Hello Kitty one. In 2005, the Taiwan-based carrier worked with Japan's Sanrio to create a fleet of 7 Hello Kitty branded jets. The themed aircraft, including headrests, pillows, air sickness bags, and even toilet paper.
Oh,
with
just
the
what you
Hello
need.
Kitty brand.
Just what you need if you're going to be sick in air, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. In fact, I think in Nev's case, I think the Hey Kitty bag alone would be enough to make you throw up in it. But anyway, that's
Can't find the
words
words there at
no,
all.
yeah.
So you can even eat grilled vegetables and food shaped like Hello Kitty during mealtime.
Wow.
Wow. How about this one? Alaska Airlines. In 2009, Alaska Airlines unveiled its Spirit of Disneyland 2 Boeing 737-900 jet as part of its partnership with the iconic Anaheim, California-based amusement park. It featured Disney characters Mickey and Minnie Mouse, Pluto, Goofy, and Donald Duck. How about this one from Southwest Airline, where they're known for painting its jets to honour the state they serve. Some may prefer more flashy state liveries, but people usually have been a fan of this one called New Mexico One, which the airline unveiled in 2000. It features a depiction of the state's official flag, anchored by the ancient symbol of the state's Zia Pueblo Indians. JetBlue, they weren't around during the jet age in the 1960s, but back then the airlines took to the skies with liveries including United's Friendship, Americans' Astrojet, and Delta's The Widget. So in November 2016, the New York-based carrier introduced the What's Old is Blue Again livery to pay homage to 1960s travel. This is a very wacky one, I've got to say, from Brussels Airlines. The airline wanted to highlight Belgium's national icon, so it created a fleet of 4 jets, paying homage to the comic hero Tintin, surrealist painter René Magritte, the Smurfs, and the Red Devils national football team, and the music festival Tomorrowland. ANA, they had
That is a busy one.
747-400, which was the first of 10 Pokemon-themed aircraft in 1998. By April 2016, ANA's Pokemon fleet was retired. And
say no more.
yeah, WestJet had a Boeing 737-800, which was revealed in October 2015. It was a collaboration between the airline and Disney. It was WestJet's second Disney aircraft design. It took 21 days of 12-hour rotations with crew of 6 painters working 24/7 at a Fort Worth-based paint facility to complete the design, which also included sparkles to make the jet shimmer.
Now, Nev, the next one has been designed especially for Matt.
This is one of my favourite ones, actually. I really like this one. This is Koala Flight 101. Now, I
feel I should be offended.
Honestly, this is brilliant.
But the South Airlines low-cost carrier wanted to have some fun demystifying the art of flying. It created this special livery in 2013 to explain how all of the parts of the plane work. I think that's really good. And actually, if you've seen the full-size picture of that somewhere on the internet, it's actually quite...
I just love the way it says front door.
Yeah, absolutely.
It says Captain. This door is always open unless we're at 41,000 feet.
Right, okay.
Yeah, well,
yeah, so if you're at 39,000 feet, it's open.
It's open, yeah.
Right, okay, fair enough. Excellent, I like it.
Yeah, that there is a full, as Nev said, there's a full-size picture of that aircraft, the Koala one, online. It's quite good because they explain literally every part of the outside of the aircraft. Has got
lovely.
Some
so essentially, what you're telling me is I need to do a walk round of that plane, and then I'll be fine.
You'd boss it. I tell you honestly, you'd be so good. You'd be so good.
A bit like how Nev bossed it in the quiz. The Christmas quiz.
For those of you,
I thought I might just mention it.
I know. For those of you who haven't seen the Christmas special, I put together a special quiz for the hosts and the guest hosts.
Yes.
And a certain PTUK host completely
might have nailed it.
Completely nailed it. Bearing in mind, none of the other hosts had seen the questions apart from me and Matt. And Nev, well, it's safe to say, Nev, you did.
You did rather excel
Rather
there, didn't
well.
Well,
you?
yeah, that's very nice of you. But yes, it was. Some of them were quite difficult, actually. That was a bit. A few of them a bit tricky, but
They were.
all
yeah.
these years of aviation weirdness
Geekery.
have
Yeah,
paid
absolutely.
off.
Yeah, absolutely. What
Yeah.
what did he win again? What did his
Um,
team win again?
Oh, I forget what the scores were. No,
Oh,
we did
okay.
have them written down here.
No,
somewhere.
I'm afraid they've been treaded.
Oh, they've been traded.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was confidential, I suppose. Yeah,
yeah, it
was,
was highly confidential. Yeah.
I think your team won by a fair mark. I
right.
think.
Yes. Yeah. Indeed. Yeah.
Nev,
Definitely
yeah.
some winning involved. Yeah.
So that is where we bring the commercial news segment to a close. So we're going to hand things over to Nev to introduce the next part of the show.
Yes, we've got a couple. We've actually got 4 more interviews from Dubai 2019 to share with you, and this is one of them. This was a great one, actually. It's always difficult to get hold of people when you're at these big air shows, unless you've made an appointment. But actually, we did rather well with this one because we went up to the Boeing booth, and they very kindly granted Carlos an interview with Randy Tinseth, who's Boeing's Vice President of Marketing at Boeing Commercial Airplanes. And Carlos had quite a long chat with him, actually. We covered all sorts of subjects. So here we go.
So we've been lucky indeed to be invited onto the Boeing terrace here at the Dubai Air Show 2019. I'm here with Randy. Randy, welcome onto the show.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So Randy, Boeing, obviously you've got your name on the back of our IDs here. You're obviously a big player here at the Dubai Air Show.
Oh, it's a very important show for us. It gives us an opportunity to talk with our customers, gives us an opportunity to connect with our suppliers, and probably most important, since it's a show, it gives us an opportunity to fly beautiful airplanes like the 787 Dreamliner and really highlight their features and capabilities.
So Randy, what's one of the biggest things you've brought to the show this year for aircraft? Obviously you've got the Dreamliner over there.
Well, we have the Dreamliner over there. We have other customers like Emirates that have brought 777-300ER over there. We have another 787 by Etihad with that Man-U paint job, which is absolutely spectacular. And then from a military side, which I don't work on, but we do have the U.S. tanker that's over in the DoD corral. So we brought a number of airplanes here to really, like I said, to have a show, to have some fun, and to really illustrate how great those products are.
So Randy, the 777 is obviously one of the most popular aircraft, I think, for the long haul wide-bodied fleet of airlines that they use. Obviously, we've got the 777X now starting to come online. What was the whole idea on bringing the 777X out with Boeing?
Well, I'll tell you, the 777 has been the most successful wide-body program in aviation history. But we got to the place with the program. We had been producing the 777-300ER for a number of years, and it was time, with the new competition, both from Airbus and from our 787, to make a leap forward on that aircraft. So we worked with GE to develop a new engine. We developed this amazing large composite wing, as we talked about, that has the folding tips. And then we brought a new passenger experience to our customers. So this is just the next step in the evolution of that airplane. It's going to be 10% better than our competitor's new product. You know, it's going to be 30-40% more fuel efficient than airplanes like the A380 or the 747-400. So we're doing the right thing for our customers. I think we're doing the right thing for the environment. And ultimately, I think we're breathing life into an airplane that's now 25 years old and bringing that next generation of aircraft to the market.
So avionics-wise, on the flight deck, is the original 777, say the 300ER that's over there, is the commonality very similar to the latest 777X that's coming online?
Well, the 777X actually looks a whole lot more like an 87 on the flight deck than the 777 today. Clearly, it will have the same type rating, or that's our objective, to have the same type rating as the 777 today, and a common type rating with the 787. The one thing that's new in terms of technology, this will be the first airplane that we build that has a flight deck that actually has screen touch technology. So we're bringing the iPad of today into the flight deck and making it part of that display system.
How important do you think, with that aircraft, the whole passenger experience is? Obviously the airlines can have a choice of interiors and seating, but obviously you've built the aircraft to adapt to whatever the airline wants.
You know, I like to think about it that we give our customers a canvas with the airplane and give them the flexibility to configure that airplane so they can bring their brand in. They can create an environment that is unique to their brand, unique for their customers. I think with the 777X, we recognize every centimeter counts. So actually compared, even though the fuselage of the 777X, outside fuselage is the same as today's 777, we've actually sculpted the interior a little bit, so we give 10 extra centimeters of space inside the airplane. It doesn't sound like a lot, but what it does is it allows us, at least for the economy class passengers, to configure the airplane in a 10 abreast configuration and still leave 18-inch wide seats. So we're giving them more comfort. We're able to do things with new windows in the airplane, with new architectures, with lower cabin altitude to really help provide a better experience for passengers. And again, our job is to make sure that we give them an architecture, we give them the capabilities, we give them, our customers, the palette to work with, and I think we've done absolutely the right thing with 777X interior.
One of the things we have on the show, we have various crew from airlines come on as guests, and a lot of the crew that we've spoken to who fly on the 777 300ER have said that it's one of the preferred aircraft for the crew rest area especially. Yeah. They find it a lot more accommodating than some other aircraft that are in their fleet.
Well, I had a chance a few years ago to fly on the 777-200LR in the world's longest flight, so I got a chance to use one of those crew rest areas for myself. They are pretty nice. It's a good night's sleep. It's one of those things, the airplane's quiet, you have that sound of the wind and the motion of the aircraft, it just rocks you to sleep. I think one of the things that makes the airplane so successful is it's just rock solid when it flies. And I can tell you with this new big composite wing, we're going to continue to keep that tradition of providing that rock solid performance and cruise capability for our customers.
Now, a few years ago, I was lucky enough to travel out to Muscat in Oman on BA's Dash 9, the Dreamliner. And before I flew on the aircraft, obviously I'd heard all the news reports about how it was, you'd feel fresh, you'd feel more alive when you got to your destination. I have to say, touch wood, I felt really good when I got there after that flight.
Did you think it was real or was it good marketing for my team?
It's true. It does. You do feel a lot better than you would do on as you say, a standard kind of pressure.
Just to tell a little story, a few years ago I flew on my first commercial 787 flight, like so many others, and I held back to talk to one of the flight attendants just a little bit, so I could get her idea of what she thought about the airplane. And so I started the conversation. I said, I work at Boeing. I know a little bit about the Dreamliner. I said, what do you not like about the Dreamliner? And she gave a legitimate complaint that the doors on the lavatories were a little bit flimsy, which we fixed. She said, well, she had a customer that it actually popped off, and you have a customer walking down the aisle with the lavatory door. So we fixed that problem. I said, what do you like? Once I kind of got this conversation going, she said, the air. She said, without question, the air. She said, I feel different, and this is my workplace, and thank you for what you've done to the air. So maybe it's good marketing, but I think we did make a difference.
So going on to some of the older aircraft, the 767 is still obviously being utilised quite a lot across the globe, and the 74 obviously we're still with BA. We're flying back on a 747-400 tomorrow with BA back to the UK. Still a very popular aircraft. Obviously a lot of the airlines are starting to phase out the 74 now, but do you think the Dash 8 will kind of progress?
As a passenger airplane, probably not. I think that we see the future of the 747-8 as a freighter configuration. It has that unique capability to carry almost 140 tons of cargo. It has the unique nose loading door. So I think that it's going to have a special place there. But I think the future of passenger service for big airplanes is going to be the 777-9. It's going to be the biggest airplane out there. It is significantly more efficient than any four-engine airplane that's flying today or potentially in the future. So I think that's where the future is.
Yeah, it's for me, I've only ever had the experience to travel on the 74 once with Virgin. And it's that iconic experience to be able to travel on the 747. That's a whole.
If you can get in the front of the airplane in the nose section, you can get in the upper deck. It's pretty special. It's the only airplane when you get in that the section forward of door 1 that you're actually landing before the pilot does. So it's kind of fun.
So a couple of things before we wrap up then, Randy. It's obviously we're here on the Boeing stand with you. All the Boeing products going right from the 7.2 or 717, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, right through the range. Is there a favourite you have, a kind of one that you love to see either in flight or standing?
It's not flying anymore, but I started my career at Boeing as a flight test engineer on the 757 program and the 767 program. Now the good news is, my guess is, between the delivery of our first 767 to the very last one, or last one goes out of service, we're looking at a program that might last 100 years. Pretty amazing when you think about it. It's already been in production 40. We're going to produce it for a number of years, and that last airplane rolls off the line, who knows how long. Could be 100 years beginning to end. But my favorite airplane still is 757. There's no airplane that has that same feel. When you take off, you can feel it in the back of your neck.
Yeah.
So the performance is unmatched. So it's still my favorite ride.
And it is in my top 2, at least, of favourite aircraft.
But I think it's because that's where I started,
yeah.
And it has a special place.
It's a very popular aircraft, I will say, especially with our listeners. So last off then, what's the future hold for Boeing? Where do we go on from, say, the 777X? What do you think is in the future for Boeing?
Well, first of all, I guess I'm a little bit near-term focused. Our first priority has to be to get the 737 MAX back to safe service. We're working hard with the oversight of the regulators to get that done. I think when it comes to the wide-body aircraft, we're in a very good market position there. It's going to continue to be about bringing the 777X to the marketplace. At some point, creating a 777X freighter, because the freighter product line is so important to us, and continue to improve the 787. We launched the 787 now in 2004, so we're 15 years since launch. So, at some point, we just brought the newest member, the 787-10, but at some other point in the future, we have to look at how we improve that airplane as well. So we're always trying to focus on how we can improve and bring more value to our customers. That's what drives us.
Well, I'm pleased to say in a few weeks' time I should be flying out to Oman on a Dash 8 with BA. So
okay, I think you'll enjoy that very much.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of us at the Plane Talking UK podcast, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you.
And appreciate your time today, and enjoy the rest of the air show.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was, for me, that was such...
How cool is that?
I know. To have the kind of treatment that we were given, it was quite kind of... a bit kind of, what would you say, security-esque, wasn't it, Nev? We were kind of stood in the reception area. We were obviously vetted, and then we were given security passes.
And they let you in despite that?
They let us in despite that. And we were ushered. We obviously were asked if we wanted drinks, weren't we, Nev? Chilled
nice.
drinks.
Yeah, that's good.
And we went out onto the balcony area on the Boeing stand, which was rather warm, wasn't it, Nev?
Yeah, that was very nice. What a great view, though, across the apron there as well. It was really good. But everybody at Boeing was great, actually, really nice. And Randy didn't have a lot of time, so it was very nice of him to spare us the time that he did to do that interview. So,
definitely.
Very pleased with that.
Well, and quite a very, very high-profile guest, to be fair.
And for a few people in the chat room did point out about the fact about the Max. I'd made a point that I wasn't going to. We've done the story. We've done the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was obviously the Randy that brought up the Max at the end of the interview. But a great interview. Really enjoyed that. It was thanks to the guys at Boeing for allowing us to do that. So really good stuff.
Yeah.
So. Moving on with the show, and up next, obviously, we haven't got Armando with us on the show this week, but Armando did send us a few little stories to for this week's military segment.
Good. Okay.
So, if everyone's ready,
yes, I'm ready, Nev.
Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this story. When Armando sent this through, and I had a look at this earlier today, when the picture, if Matt pops up on the screen if he gets a chance, the picture immediately reminded me of a certain program that I used to watch in the 80s as a child. And I'll let you guess the name of the program. But anyway, moving on. This story is on popularmechanics.com. The headline, the US Air Force's new helicopter is called Grey Wolf. Now, when Matt puts the picture on the screen, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, the US Air Force's Global Strike Command took possession of its first new Security Forces helicopter this week during a ceremony that also saw the new rotorcraft named Grey Wolf.
Okay. Yes.
Grey Wolf will... Did you say Grey Wolf or Airwolf?
No,
anyway,
Grey
Wolf will carry...
Copyright infringements are likely.
Grey Wolf will carry quick reaction forces consisting of Air Force security personnel ready to rapidly respond to an incident or attack at one of hundreds of international ballistic missile silos spread across the American West. Grey Wolf is actually a rebadged Augusta Westland AW139 helicopter. Although Boeing makes helicopters such as the Apache AH-64 attack helicopter and this CH-47 Chinook heavy transport, it really didn't make a medium weight Black Hawk sized helicopter. Thank you for that, Matt. That the Air Force, remember the copyright infringements, remember that the Air Force had in mind for the role. All that for the system, Boeing turned to Augusta Westland, which has already built 900 AW139s for customers worldwide. According to Boeing, Grey Wolf is 50% faster than the UH-1N Huey helicopters currently serving Air Force's security forces. It can also fly 50% further, carrying 5,000 pounds of cargo. Boeing says that the Grey Wolf will save up to $1 billion in life cycle costs. And the Air Force plans to buy 84 of the Grey Wolves for $2.4 billion. Grey Wolf is a multi-mission helicopter embracing a number of roles, hence the M in MH139. A worst-case scenario might see Grey Wolves rolling up on terrorists trying to force their way into a Millennium 3 missile silo, while at a best-case scenario might be transporting Air Force VIPs. Grey Wolf can also carry up to 15 people, has slide-down doors to facilitate the use of window-mounted M240 medium machine guns. It also has a reduced infrared signature to foil sensors and infrared-guided missiles. Air Force magazine says the helicopters will be sprinkled all over the world to support Air Force missions. 11 of the aircraft will head to Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming, and Minnow Air Force Base in North Dakota to protect the Minuteman III silos. Others will go to Joint Base Andrews in Maryland and Yokota Air Base in Japan for VIP transports. And some will go to Fairchild Air Force Base, home of the US Air Force Survival School. Now, it's so blooming Airwolf. It really is. Honestly. I loved one of those programs I loved when I was a child was Airwolf.
I think, well, yes, indeed. I think you still love it now, don't you?
And Airwolf is plainly the fastest helicopter in the world, so, you know.
I don't know what you mean. Yeah.
What do you think, Nev? A fan of the...
Well, yes. Now, there's something very odd going on with my feed at the moment, because all I'm getting is very loud music in my ear.
Sorry about that was me. Sorry, I've shut it up
right.
now. Yeah.
That's okay. So, no, that's a very awesome piece of kit, isn't it, Carlos? Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yep, so from one awesome piece of kit, Nev, to the next story about another awesome piece of kit.
Yes, this is on the breakingdefense.com website, and it's all about the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, which has had a very good year indeed. And in October, the DoD announced a fairly dramatic rise in readiness rates. And yesterday, Lockheed Martin announced that it had exceeded its year-end delivery goal of 131 aircraft, pushing the per-unit price tag down to below the 2016 target of $80 million, a year earlier than planned. Lockheed Martin actually delivered 134 aircraft last year, 81 to the US military, 30 to international partners, and 23 to foreign military sales customers, according to a company release. This represents a 47% increase increase from 2018 and nearly a 200% production increase from 2016. This coming year, Lockheed Martin plans to deliver 141 F-35s, the release adds. This achievement is a testament to the readiness of the full F-35 enterprise to ramp to full production, and we continue to focus on improving on-time deliveries across the entire weapon system, says Greg Ulmer, who's Lockheed Martin's Vice President and General Manager of the F-35 program. The per-aircraft price for the multi-role fighter is now $77.9 million, a cost that is equal or lower to a less capable fourth-generation legacy aircraft, according to him. As breaking defence readers will have known, the DoD for years struggled just to get its fleet of 440 F-35s into the air, with readiness rates at barely half, 55%. To be exact. One critical issue has been a seemingly endless shortage of parts, particularly the canopy adhesive related to the jet's stealthiness had effectively crippled the program. And whilst readiness rates haven't met the 80% goal set by former Defence Secretary Jim Mattis, DoD Acquisition Chief Ellen Lord on October the 29th announced that the F-35 readiness rates had jumped from the same time in 2018 to 73%. In addition, congressional appropriators gave the Air Force a holiday gift in the 2019 spending agreement, an additional $1.87 billion for 20 additional F-35s and associated spare parts. The appropriators added funds for 14 F-35A conventional takeoff and landing variant and 6 F-35B short takeoff vertical landing variants. All total, the 2019 spending bill funded 98 aircraft, which consisted of 62 35As, 16 F-35Bs and 20 F-35Cs at a whopping cost of $9.3 billion, crowning the F-35 as the biggest Pentagon procurement program ever. Well, whilst the spat with Turkey over its acquisition of the Russian S-400 air defense system led to the July decision by the warehouse to suspend Ankara from the F-35 program, and at a loss of 30 aircraft sales from Lockheed Martin, Poland's planned purchase of 32 aircraft for $6.5 billion was approved in September. And in November, Norwegian Air Chief Brigadier General Tonje Skinnerland declared Norway's squadron of F-35As operational, placing Norway as its third European country to declare the plane operational after the UK and Italy. According to Lockheed Martin, there are now more than 490 F-35 aircraft operating from 21 bases around the globe, 975 pilots and 8,585 maintainers are trained. And the F-35 fleet has surpassed more than 240,000 cumulative flight hours. Furthermore, 8 nations have F-35 operating from its domestic bases, a base on their home soil, and 8 services have declared the initial operating capability, and 4 services have employed F-35 in combat operations. So by any stretch of the imagination, the F-35 has had a very good year indeed, delivering that number of aircraft.
And it also looks blooming nice as well.
It does, yeah.
Yeah,
Quite.
I do like those.
Indeed. Now, it's supposed to be me that reads the next story, but actually I noticed there's a very, very cool video that we have to play, and I should stress, I actually saw the trailer for this for the first time in the cinema earlier this week, because I went to go and see... What did I go and see? I can't remember. I went to go and see some film.
Must have been a good film.
Star Wars!
Must have been a good film. You forgot about it already.
I went to go and see the new Star Wars film.
You've said it now.
My friend Tom. Yeah, it was amazing, by the way, so don't start. Just because it's not Star Trek and you therefore have no interest. Anyway,
so for those of you guys and girls who love your military stuff, will obviously know that the new Top Gun film will be coming out. Top Gear. No, okay. So new Top Gun film will be coming out very soon. There's about 4.5 billion different trailers for this film online, all of which are all fantastic. But one of the things, there is a few videos as well going online about the making of the film, and this one is on the popularmechanics.com website. The headline, How Top Gun Maverick Pulled Off All That High-Flying Footage. So the makers of Top Gun Maverick have released a video in and it is awesome, showing how all of the amazing flying footage was taken. What's amazing is that in this age of computer-generated special effects, nearly all of the aeroplane flying in the upcoming sequel is real, except for one scene. The video released by Paramount Pictures shows how the US Navy cooperated with filmmakers for the sequel to the iconic 1986 film. Not only did the Navy allow Tom Cruise and the company to film on the aircraft carriers the USS Theodore Roosevelt and the USS Abraham Lincoln, but they also flew FA-18E and FA-18F Super Hornets for the movie. The Navy also allowed filmmakers to place 6 IMAX quality cameras in the rear cockpit seats of the F-18s, Fs and two-seater versions of the Super Hornet. This is how all the film captures the illusion of Tom Cruise and the other stars of the film actually flying the plane. The actors are actually in the plane, just sitting in the back seat, while the real pilot is in the front seat.
So cool.
One interesting clip is footage of a Super Hornet flying what appears to be a series of forested valleys. This could be a part of a VR-1251, a designated flight route from the Pacific Ocean through Northern California, then Oregon, then ending at Naval Air Station Fallon in northern Nevada. And the video, for those of you watching the YouTube version, will see the video Matt's playing on there at the moment. This makes sense since at least some of the movie appears to take place at Fallon. Fallon describes itself as the Navy's premier tactical air warfare training centre, a major base. Dozens of Navy strike fighters, including aircraft painted in the camouflage brown and blue aggressor paint schemes, are visible from Google Maps at any particular time. Fallon is the home to the Fighting Saints of Fighter Squadron Composite 13, or VFC 13. VFC provides aggressor pilots to fly against Navy pilots, providing an adversary force to an air-to-air combat training. Although they're not in the trailers, we're likely to see their camouflaged aircraft in the film at some point. One scene that appears to have been filmed and then altered with CGI is the shovel-nosed SR-71 aircraft Tom Cruise flies in the second trailer. In the Paramount video, it's clear that the scene is shot with a Super Hornet flying low over the camera crew. This was apparently changed in a production to a mysterious high-speed aircraft, so there's at least one bit of CGI in the film, but the great majority of the Top Gun Maverick flying footage appears to be glorious real. So it's safe to say that I've set 2 reminders on my calendar, Google Calendar, for this film when it's released this year. And fancy coming to the cinema to see this when it comes out?
Next question.
Yeah.
The only stipulation is Odeon.
Yeah, oh God, blimey,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
100%.
Yeah, certainly. If you compare Odeon versus View here in Norwich,
Never been in View, and I wouldn't want to.
No, you'd hate it because don't go in there with a black light. Is all I'm telling you. Please don't you ever go in there because you won't like it.
So Nev, have you perused any trailers for said film?
I haven't yet. No, perhaps I should, because that looks quite exciting, isn't it? So I may well do that tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Good idea.
And I will say, for those of you who may be lucky enough to have a 3D TV, this film is blooming awesome. The original Top Gun film, because Matt has had it. You've seen this at mine, haven't you?
I did, because I had never seen Top Gun, had I?
No, did you watch the 3D
I watched
version?
it in 3D.
Yeah, it's amazing what they've done with the original film.
I was surprised at how good, because I mean, obviously it wasn't in 3D originally, was it? So they've retro.
They've sort of Blu-rayed it and 3D'd it,
yeah,
and then released it, and it is awesome.
If I was to be super critical, one of the things I do have problems with, a really odd issue with my vision.
Okay.
No, it is genuinely a really odd issue with my vision, and it seems to involve only 3D. If I watch like a normal film, I'm not so aware of it, but there's something about the way that my eyes process the 3D image, where if it isn't 60 frames at a time, I really struggle with it.
Micah,
haven't you? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my word,
Nev! I'm sure there's some sort of scientific reason why I struggle perhaps with it, but 3D always seems really jerky to me unless it's actually in a higher frame rate.
Yeah, they in order to make the three, if you need it to work smoothly, you need the 120 hertz active stereo glasses in order to do it. But that can give some people a bit of a headache. It's certainly if I'm wearing those for an hour and a half, hour and three quarters, or whatever it is, I do find it quite tiring myself. Although I do, I do appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. No, I completely appreciate it. And of course, the very first time I saw it with the 60 frames, and that for me, that completely changed my experience of 3D. It's got nothing to do with aviation. I'm so sorry, but
it's an aviation film.
Yeah, with it being 60 frames a second instead of the usual, was it 25, 30, something like that?
Is it 27?
Yeah. And The Hobbit, it was completely different. I was completely like, oh my god, that's amazing, because it was, for some reason, my brain was handling it better in the higher frame rate. But there we go. So right, Micah, I'm very shocked to discover that
we're not going to.
You're not even going to read that out.
Not going to read that out.
Although I do like Richard Adams' idea, and I do think this should. I think Paramount, the people who've made it, have got a bit of a. They need to make this a DVD optional extra. Nev, you might need to break the camera out for this one, because Richard Adams suggested it'd be good to get Captain Nick to add a comedy subtitles and or narrative.
Yep.
And then Stephen H in the chat room is saying, watch out, he has lawyers everywhere.
He does, yes, that's true. Yes, I wonder if they'll explain why he's single again and presumably available for any 20-odd-year-old actress in the sequel. He seems so in love with the first film. Yeah.
I just can't wait. It's July. I think it's July. It's in my Google Calendar. It's July time.
Oh, is it? Okay, all right then.
Yeah.
Is it this year then? It comes out. Okay, very good. Yeah. Yes, excellent. Anyway, this has got nothing to do with that.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. So we are going to hand things over to Nev again to introduce the next part of the show.
Yes, now this is the second interview for today that we're showing to you from Dubai, when Carlos and I went there earlier this year. Again, just looking around the various booths, all sorts of really interesting products. But this caught our eye because we've both seen this product in action at Heathrow Terminal 5. British Airways used the Mototok device as an electric pushback truck, and we had a chance to have a chat with them on their stand.
Okay, so I'm on the Mototok stand with Thilo, and welcome onto the show.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for taking the time out to speak to us today. So tell me a bit about what we're standing next to here, this amazing piece of kit that we've seen at Terminal 5 at Heathrow.
Yes, we are 10 years on the market, and in the last 8 years we were focused on MRO business, also moving aircrafts in a hangar, very precisely, remote controlled, electrical. And 3 years ago BA came to us and said, why we don't use this for pushbacks? And so we developed with BA together, more or less, this machine as a professional pushback machine. And now we have 28 units around Terminal 5A, did over 130,000 pushbacks, fully electrical, very safe, and it's a great success for the environment in Heathrow, in London, and also for the operation, because it's a very, very safe operation now. And yes, and then BA had a great success with it. And so the next step is to bring this concept also to Iberia, in Spain, and to other countries in the world.
So pushback tugs, in the past, people envision big vehicles, big pushback tugs with a driver's cab, but this is completely different.
Yeah, the idea is here that the machine is standing at the gate. In Heathrow, it's on each gate one machine. Yeah? And the advantage is that the big tractor is not driving around the airport like crazy. One machine on each stand, and it's really electrical. So, and the efficiency of this is that the tug is always available, and they trained a lot of operators because it's easy to operate. So the operator is there and the machine is there. And so the British Airways decreased their pushback-related delays over 70%.
Wow.
Which is for an airline also a big benefit, and for the passengers also.
So what's the power supply? How is this powered, this unit?
It needs 400 volts 3-phase, and charging time is around 3-4 hours. and then you can operate 30 pushbacks with engines on, which is the case in Heathrow. And if you have not the engines on during the pushback, then it's 50 pushbacks. So it's a lot. And you can serve 1 to 4 stands with one machine.
Wow. Training, how much training has to be involved with actually using the pushback?
In the end, the operator has only to learn two switches on the remote control, and the training lasts 2 hours maximum.
Wow.
Because it's really easy, and if he knows already the regulations to communicate with the pilot, and so then it's really done in 2 hours. So this is the reason why they train so many operators in Heathrow, that they achieve this flexibility in operating pushbacks on time.
So the actual device itself, was it a long time in development sort of process
For us as a company? No. Yeah, yes, in general, because the company is now 10 years on the market, but this product for pushback is to optimize was done in these 2 years. In general, in specialty, it was the emergency process. In a hangar, the emergency is not so important to get the aircraft quickly released, but if you do a pushback and then something happens, then you have to get the aircraft quickly out of the nose gear, out of the wheel engagement.
So can this be used on any aircraft type? Is this compatible for all aircraft types, narrow body, wide body?
No, this machine which you see here is for narrow body and regional jets, and we will have next year, at end of next year, a big one for narrow body and wide body, also up to 777X.
Wow. So what's the capacity? What's the pushback capacity?
100 tons, and lifting is 11 tons.
Wow.
And it's really small. It's a big difference to the other tractors. It's small, and that's a unique selling point of us, besides the remote control. So,
looking to the future, is there more progression with this particular unit? Is there other kind of things in the pipeline, possibly?
Yes, and everybody speaks today about autonomous pushback or autonomous operations, and as this is a computerized vehicle with a remote control, it's very easy to make it autonomous driving. The problem is a little bit the pushback, because the machine has to know where the aircraft is going to. A pushback is like if you park a trailer backward with your car. The trailer is going somewhere. That is a difficulty, but we will find a solution for this.
So do you think the future could be kind of a GPS-based system on board within an airport to find its way to an aircraft?
Yeah. Find a way to the aircraft and to push it back autonomous, and coming back then to the charging station. That will be the future, but it takes some years to be realistic.
Having seen these on YouTube, especially the videos of these in action, they are a fantastic piece of kit. Seeing these work, and it's obviously for the operators. We've seen that we had a program recently in the UK with BA that show the guys using these, doing the pushbacks. It does look really quite easy.
Yeah, the operators love it because it's so easy, and they have the great overview during the pushback, so they feel safe. Yeah? The worst thing for an operator is that something happens or he produces an accident. That's the worst thing. But in our case, he has his overview. He has his own responsibility for the pushback because he has a remote control. He is really in power. So this is why they love it.
Also, I think environmentally wise, because everyone is trying to look more greener these days, this is obviously a lot better than the original pushback tugs that were available at airports.
It has no fuel and less maintenance cost. So for the environment, for CO2, it's zero. It's best. It's the future.
Proud of your product. That's good. That's good. Well, on behalf of the Plane Talking UK podcast, it's great to have you on, talk to, and we'll do some shots of this awesome vehicle for the listeners to see. But on behalf of us, thanks for joining us, and all the best for the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Still amazes me, Nev, the capacity that thing can lift. I know it's only for the A320s and 737 sort of narrow body size, but even so, the power to lift something like that.
Yeah, it lifts 11 tons and it can push back 100 tons.
I mean, actually, if you put if they could get the capacity up another half half a ton. It could genuinely lift a Van Hool coach. That's a crazy. I'm just trying to give it a, it can almost lift an entire coach. Certainly lift a bus.
Stephen H has put a very valid point in the chat room. Said it'll be hard to get rid of the bloke due to the need to watch wingtips as per earlier.
Well, quite yes, indeed.
Yeah, very true.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed. Yeah,
but no, it was interesting seeing these things in, because they obviously had one at the stand where me and Nev looked at this, and the guy was manipulating it while we were there, and it is just like a joystick and a box.
Yeah.
Like you said, 2 hours to
2 hours training. That's the most impressive thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It was good, wasn't it? It was good fun.
Brilliant. No, really good. And you could tell straight away that it was made in Germany. It was a very German engineered product. You can just tell that. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
And again, great access to the guys on the stand there. So it was great.
Yeah. 2 more to look forward to, haven't we?
We've got 2 more to do.
For that. Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to start to wrap up this week's
show. Quickly, please, because I've got to pack the studio up after this. I'm so scared.
We're going to start to wrap up the show.
In a box.
And
make the most of this, guys, because this is probably the last time it'll ever work properly.
Yeah. Next week we'll all be pixelated and upside down.
Yeah, possibly.
So
I love how you're joking about that.
I know. I'm probably going to regret saying that.
You are, yeah, absolutely.
Don't forget the Christmas competition, guys. Links on social media for the questions for the Christmas competition.
Yeah.
We've already had plenty of people in.
Look.
Nev's got the pile of prizes there, which
working very well.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. Yeah, they keep disappearing.
Yes, so we've got lots of books there, and we've got the Concorde book, one of those Haynes manual Concorde books, which has been signed by John Hutchinson.
It has, and that prize, absolutely. The book signed by John Hutchinson, will be together with this plate.
Look at that.
That will be our top prize, along with the book. And this is a limited edition, end of an era Concorde, a supersonic era plate that was specially made in a limited edition batch of plates for that. There we go.
If you haven't entered already, then please make sure that you search. Carlos will do a refresh push, I think, of the Christmas questions so that you can get them in. And send your answers to, please, podcast@planetalkinguk.com. That's podcast@planetalkinguk.com. If you need to check social media and you need to find us, if you haven't subscribed already, then search social media for Plane Talking UK. And as I say, the website, www.planetalkinguk.com. As I say, email address, not only for entering the Christmas competition, but also if you want to come and join us for our 300th show, is podcast@planetalkinguk.com. That's podcast@planetalkinguk.com.
And it actually does. Look, you can see the 3D effect on these. It's quite good.
Yeah, you're giving away the secret of the green wall behind us. Don't do that. So don't do that.
So loads and loads of great prizes to choose from, and the questions, as Matt said, will be on social media. I'll refresh those again this week.
And our plan is to announce the winners at the 300, which is next week. So you need to get your answers in ASAP.
Pulled out of the hat,
yeah, absolutely,
as always. So
get
that'd be
there.
great.
Mainly because there'll be an audience there, and Carlos can't get it wrong again.
So don't forget, again, just to refresh your memory, just in case you didn't know, 300th show next Saturday. That's the 11th of January. That's at the Renaissance Hotel at London Heathrow. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't already emailed us at the show to say you're going to join us, please don't forget to email us at the show, the usual email address. And if you can't find the email address, or if you've forgotten, you can always go to the PTUK website, planetalkinguk.com. There's a contact page on there. You can send us an email through there. So if you don't always catch the live show and you listen to the audio show, don't forget to grab yourself a place at the 300.
And confirmed guests so far include, Tanya's going to be there, I know that much. Chris Griggs, who I know we've spoken to, Richard Adams and all that kind of thing. We've also got Dr.
Possibly Dr. Steph.
But definitely, let's just stick
Jeff.
with the people who are definitely coming.
Yeah.
Captain Jeff and Captain Nick will both be there, which we're very, very excited about.
And also Paul Papadimitriou, you may remember him from the Christmas special. Paul from the Layovers podcast will be on the panel.
I think what I'm going to do is going to put some gaffer tape over his mouth just to make sure that he doesn't swear while we're doing the live show. I think that's going to be the way forward. Absolutely.
No.
Nev, I mean, I'm both excited and nervous. I don't know about you.
Yes, I'm excited and nervous. I'm nervous because I am flying back from Brussels on the Friday straight into Heathrow and then going straight to the hotel. So if there's any weather weirdness or stuff like that, I might have to give you the keys to my car where all the gear will be. But no, I'm hoping it's all going to go smoothly. And so I'll be there from Friday afternoon, and then we'll start setting up sometime Friday evening, I'm guessing.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, absolutely. As I say, I'm arriving around about 8 o'clock. I think you're planning to arrive about lunchtime as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm probably going to leave my place of workment around about midday and mosey on down with my father.
I'm aiming to be there about 8 o'clock-ish, traffic permitting, probably a bit later if I know the M25 on a Friday night.
My dad is really looking forward to it.
Is he?
Yeah,
cool.
he's like WhatsApp me and everything, saying, really looking forward to the 300 show.
Okay.
You know, he rang me yesterday specifically to make sure that I was going to definitely pick him up on the way to Heathrow.
Good, lovely. Well, I'm glad he's excited. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're watching, Dad, yes, don't panic. I'll be picking him up. Yeah.
Yeah. I assume Gemma's not coming. She can't think of anything
she's coming
worse.
Saturday. Actually, Gemma is travelling down with my boss on Saturday, so she will be joining us Saturday.
I look forward to my pre-organised Gemma hug then.
Yes,
I think.
So the person that some of you may have seen all those years ago coming into the PTUK kitchen studio with bags of shopping will be at the 300
Can't wait.
show.
Yes, absolutely. Armando's also... So actually, we keep forgetting one of the most exciting things, of course, is
Armando's going to be there.
Will be here live as well. I'm very excited.
I mean, we've got a guest list just for people who just want to meet Armando.
They want personal photographs and signings and all sorts, don't they? Yeah. Absolutely. And hopefully some very exciting news to announce at the 300th involving Armando.
Possibly.
As well. So,
You never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah.
So that is where we're going to wrap up episode number 299. Nev, anything big plans next week? Are you jetting across the globe for before the PTUK? Obviously, you've got the flight on Thursday,
yes,
Friday.
I'm flying out on Thursday to Brussels. We get at our European office, actually, we're having a New Year's dinner rather than a Christmas dinner.
How
so
nice.
That's quite
That's
nice.
a great idea,
all of us involved in our European team are going out there, and I'm flying back on the Friday morning or Friday lunchtime. Back to work properly on Monday, which will be a bit of a shock to the system.
Likewise, it's going to be a bit of a shock.
No, I'm actually I'm looking forward to it. I've got to say, I've got a fantastic job at the moment, and it's I'm really enjoying working with the folks that I work with. So that's great.
Yeah, indeed.
Matt.
Yes.
What's going on in the world of Coachingtons?
I have no idea. I genuinely haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I know I've got to work till 5 on the Friday. That's the only bit that has sort of immediately worried me at the moment because I, want to get away as soon as I can. But it's going to be. My head's at the 300th. I'm busy hoping that goes smoothly. But very excited that we've got some great people coming. It's going to be great to see Adam Spink again. Hadn't seen him for a little while.
Yeah.
Graham Haley will hopefully be joining us later. So lots of Jonathan Warner. Lots of friends and stuff. Hopefully, I'm looking forward
to be looking at it. We're going to have all aspects of the aviation industry at the show. We'll have pilots. We'll have ATC. We'll have ground crew. We'll just have everyone there. Really,
it's going to be great. Can't wait.
So that's it then, guys and girls. Have a fantastic weekend, whatever you're doing. And stay safe, and don't forget to enjoy those Sunday roasts on Sunday. I know it's been Christmas. We're all a bit tired of Sunday roasts. But
what? Shut up.
Oh, okay.
Everyone say goodbye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.